Hey, beautiful people of the TikTok. How's everyone this fine evening? I hope this is finding you well, that this live is finding you well. My name is Christy, and I have been absent. I have been MIA, for a minute. And that's because I didn't, one, I was still kind of new to TikTok, and two, the changes came about and I didn't understand all the changes. So I think I got my lighting good. Earlier when I was live on Facebook, my the lighting went out. I didn't realize it wasn't charged up. But tonight we're going to talk about the mindset that helped me survive cancer and start to rebuild my life. And this topic could be for anybody, right? It could be the mindset that helped you survive, you fill in the blank, and rebuild your life. So let's make us some tea. We're gonna make us some Iaso cleansing tea. This is the watermelon and the lemonade. Normally I would also add in, I forgot my scissors, I'm sorry. Normally I would add in the Iaso brew tea too, but the instant. But I had 2 of those this morning, so I didn't feel like I needed another one. So again, good evening and welcome to the night pour. This is a space where we slow down. It's time to slow down at night, breathe, and pour out the thoughts and lessons of the day. So, if you're just joining me, settle in, join the conversation. Again, our topic is the mindset we need to overcome. So I'm going to share the mindset I used while I was overcoming cancer and that I used to start to rebuild my life. Okay. I was diagnosed with cancer back in 2020, right as the pandemic hit. I think I gotten sick the year earlier, but they just thought it was I just got our tea. This is our lemonade watermelon tea. I normally buy some seltzer, to make it bubbly, but I forgot to get some. I forgot to get some. But that's okay. It's good all by itself. So anywho, I gotten sick in 2019 and they thought it was just, lymphedema, no big thing, high blood pressure. Cool. I was okay with that. But I kept getting sick. And they finally, in June of 2020, discovered that I had stage 4 breast cancer. Now, when I was first diagnosed, and I tell people this and they're really surprised, but I really wasn't, the word I guess I'm looking for. I really wasn't devastated when I got the diagnosis. And that's really because, I had been feeling bad and hurting. I was just glad to know what was wrong. Sometimes you just need to know what's wrong, what's going on. Good evening, how you doing? What is that, 56 flavors? Oh, that's an interesting screen name. Thank you for joining my live. Please tap it up. Like the live, share it out if it resonates with you. We're talking about the mindset to overcome, right? And the one I used to overcome cancer. So, once I was diagnosed, I wasn't too devastated because I finally knew what was wrong. I wasn't getting the runaround anymore. Good evening, Cook and Beautiful and Bernice Jones. How are y'all this evening? Tap, tap, tap it up. Let's talk about the mindset to overcome, right? So once I was diagnosed and I knew what to pray for and how to handle it, it made, I could then start to make plans and start to move around, right? And while I was in the hospital, God let me know that this situation wasn't unto death. And I think that's what made it not so devastating for me, because I knew God had me. I knew He had my back. But as time waned on, going to the doctor, having chemo, having radiation, that starts to not only wear on your body, but it starts to wear down on your mental capacity. And the little bit of fear starts to sink in and tries to take over your thinking, because like I said, I was blessed. I was blessed with good doctors. I was blessed with a great protocol in the beginning. Things was moving along. The cancer has stopped replicating. The radiation worked, but it broke down my body. That's the part they don't talk about. Yes, you get healed. Yes, you go into remission, but in doing all of that, it breaks your body down. Now you're left with headaches. You can't sleep at night. You have weird dreams and weird thoughts. And then your nerves hurt. Your skin hurts. You lose your hair. When it comes back, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Those are the things that people don't talk about. And that's when you need the right mindset. When you're going through the treatment, you have the mindset to get well, right? You have the mindset to, I'm going to get through this. You have the mindset to, this is going to be okay, right? Because one, you got family to live for. I have 2 beautiful children. They're adults though. And seven little grandkids, right? I have 7 G babies. So I had a reason to fight. I had a reason to want to live, right? So that part was okay. It was once the cancer was healed, now what? Now my hands don't work properly. Now my mobility doesn't work properly. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining the live. Please tap, tap, tap the screen and get your daily heart meets. I really appreciate it. We're talking about the mindset you need to overcome. So in the healing, I learned that healing comes in layers, right? Now the cancer's not replicating. Now we don't have to worry about it. I'm on my last round of chemo shots that I'm gonna need. This ends in June. That's going to end in June, because actually the cancer went away 2 years ago. But when you're at stage 4, they like to do what they call maintenance chemo, where they watch. So we've watched for 2 years, and in June, as long as the test stays the same, by June, no more chemo. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Right? So one of the first battles that I realized I had to do was I had to not just fight physically in recovery. I had to start fighting mentally, because I started walking. I started exercising again. I started to live again, right? I started my journey into becoming an author. I've written several books. I get on lives and I talk about it. But it still hurts you mentally when you can't do the thing that you did before. Okay? When before I could walk almost 10 miles a day. I would walk 5 to 10 miles a day. What is that, about 10 to 20,000 steps a day? Right? Thank you for liking the live. I really appreciate it. But now I can barely get in a good 2,000 steps, but that's more than what I could do, right? So the healing comes in layers. And then the other week I had it wasn't a scare. It was just, you know, the enemy trying to make me think that something was wrong. An old pain that I haven't had in almost 5 years. The pain that started this, right? Hands started to hurt and burn all up to my shoulder. And of course, the first thing you think in your mind, I know this pain. This is the pain I had before I got diagnosed. This is the pain. Hey, Lady Mona, how are you? This is the pain I had when they first told me I had cancer. And this is coming like a week before I was getting my updated scans. So mentally, I had to go into the recesses of my mind and tell myself that this is a false pain trying to be real. Right? It's a false pain. Thank y'all for stopping by and joining. Come on in. Tap, tap, tap. I appreciate you joining in. I had to tell myself this ain't real. I mean, the pain was real. Don't get it twisted, because I was about ready to amputate my fingers. Okay, the pain was real, but it wasn't real in the sense that the cancer was back. Now, if that had happened 2 years ago when my mindset had matured, I would have panicked. But because I've changed my mindset and I know from whence my healing comes, I was able to deal with the pain, go to the doctor, realize, the nerve, there was a nerve compressed, and we had to get it to loosen up. Some inflammation had gotten into my hand, and we needed to work on that, right? So that's what we did. But that's why I'm saying you got to get your mindset right to overcome situations, because that could have taken me into a whole thank God for renewed mind, because that could have took me down a rabbit hole of panic. And when I was first diagnosed, sometimes you do go through why me. I didn't go through the why me at the time, because like I told you, when they told me I had cancer, I was like, cool. Now I know what to pray for. Now I know what to go to God about. And that's what I did. But later on, when the cancer tried to spread a couple of years later, 2022, then the why me, because then it became real to me. Because before, it wasn't real. It wasn't, I can't think of how I want to say it, because it was definitely real, but it wasn't life stopping. I was still working, I was still going, I was still moving. But when it tried to spread, the thought that I might not make it through this situation became real. And that's when I was like, God, why is this happening to me? But again, if you keep seeking God in those hard times, He'll talk to you. And then now it's like, well, why not me? Instead of staying stuck with the question of why me, I started asking myself, why not me? Okay, God, if this is something you've allowed, because just like He allowed Job to be considered for his test and trial, God considered me for a test and trial. So I'm like, okay, God, if you considered me and you're saying that this is not unto death, because I had to remind Him what He told me in the hospital room. He said this is not unto death. So if it's not unto death, then why am I going through this? Then why is it now I'm in this new protocol that's trying to kill me? I'm in the hospital, almost 4 times? Was it 4 times in 6 months? I'm like, no. He was trying to show me I need you to stand up and advocate for yourself. Yes, I created doctors. Yes, I gave them the mindset to create medicines, but that is not the end all to be all, because that's not for everybody. Right? For me, I needed to stand up and advocate for myself, and that's what I did. And once I stood up and I advocated for myself, I got a better protocol. The cancer that thought it was going to spread stopped in its tracks. And now I can see God again instead of this looming diagnosis, this looming next doctor appointment. Now when I go to the doctor, I'm like, okay, they're gonna draw blood. We're gonna do this thing. I want to see my labs, cause like now she's telling me, well, we don't have to have labs every time you come in, and I'm like, well, okay, but why not? I like having my labs. I like my labs going from this ugly gray color to this bright green down the middle. Everything is hunky dory, peachy keen. I love that. I love seeing those perfect labs. I don't necessarily love the medicine that I have to get when they do the CT scans. I hate that dye stuff. I don't like it, but I like when I get the report back and it says the most wonderful word in the medical terminology is unremarkable. Liver, unremarkable. Pancreas, unremarkable. This and that, unremarkable. I love seeing that just down the line. I love the word stable. No evidence of. I love it. I love getting those reports. I don't dread seeing it come up in the My Chart app. You have a new test, you have a new scan. I'd be like, okay, let's go. Because I need you to see what God did for me. I like when I go and they were like, well, everything looks good. You know, we like it. What you doing? And I tell them and they be like, okay, well, keep doing that. So I went from just survival to purpose. I sometimes God have to stop and get our attention because apparently I was not paying attention. I was not paying attention. So he got my attention, right? So now I've gone from just surviving to purpose. I'm in a wonderful health and wellness business. The products that are helping me rebuild my healthy self. I love it. I've written, okay, let me say this. I've written a lot of books, but I've actually published, I'm going to say 5 books. And one of them, is my first novel. I've always wanted to write a book, but I never thought I was good enough to write a book. When somebody tells you your life has changed in the blink of an eye, you start seeing possibilities in everything. You start seeing your opportunities in everything. You stop saying to yourself, well, I can do that later. Absolutely not. You can't do that later because nobody is promised later. He's allowed me to meet this situation has allowed me to meet wonderful people because in myself, I would have never pushed a go live button. I would have never put my face out on the internet. No. This has born a different person in me because I finally see me as God sees me, as an overcomer, as a joint heir with Jesus Christ. Being able to encourage other people. I'm actually living some of the things I've prayed about, that I've or dreamt about, that I may not even have said out loud. I've always wanted to write a book. And here I got 5 books. What? Sometimes things come into our life to turn situations around. Learning to slow down. I've learned to slow down. I've learned how to respect my body and not push it past its pain points. I've learned how to make better food choices. I've learned how to treat my body and feed it, not from emotion, because I am a recovering emotional eater. I start a group, right? You know, I was the type of person, I ate my emotions all the time and ate it right up to almost 400 pounds, right? Because I couldn't move and get out the way I was used to doing. So all of that emotional eating before I was able to somewhat control, because I could walk it off. I could go to the gym and sweat it off. Well, now I can't do that like I used to. But God allowed me last year to drop 71 pounds. Right? So I dropped those 71 pounds. Now, due to neglect, because I'm transparent, I tell just about all my business. Some stuff ain't none of your business, but I mostly tell it all because I have nothing to hide. Some of it came back. But it's okay. I know what to do to get it off, right? And I dropped those 71 pounds when they're telling me, because of the type of treatment I was on, I couldn't lose that kind of weight, right? Hello, everyone. Thank y'all for joining in. Please tap, tap, tap the screen. I really appreciate it. We're talking about the mindset that we have to overcome life situations, because 2026, life is lifing right now. Wars and rumors of wars, high gas prices, high grocery prices, high living expenses. You got to have the right, hi Brianna, how are you? You got to have the right mindset to overcome these situations. Thank you for the daily heart, me. I appreciate it. So through God, I've learned these mindsets of how to overcome and not panic in the situation, right? I've been introduced to some great purpose partners in my life, and seeing how they overcome a situation. One of my spiritual daughters went through a situation that over the last, I'm going to say the last 4 months. 4 months that I think a lesser person would have just threw in the towel and gave up. But because she allowed God and her discernment to take her through that trying time. See, I can't tell all her story because that's not my business to tell. But she'll tell it. Okay? God brought it all the way through. Just like when I asked God to show and do something big for me back in the end of 23, beginning of 24, he did just that. And he will do that for you. You got to protect your environment while you're developing your mindset. You got to be careful what you listening to, who you listening to, the company that you keep, who you allow around you, the conversations you engage in. You got to be oh so careful. Coming into 2026, I made a decision that I had to be more discerning who I allowed to speak into my life. Because once you come out of, let me say this, once you come out of a dark situation like I did at the end of 2023, and something wonderful happens for you in 2024, instead of seeing that blessing as a stepping stone, you get distracted by the shiny object syndrome, and you start to operate in things that you would normally not operate in. They weren't bad things, they were just distracting things. That thing that came into my life in 2024 was supposed to be a stepping stone to something else. But because I got distracted, I had to then turn around and come back. And of course, once I came back and got in alignment with God, everything accelerated. These weren't bad people. This wasn't a bad situation. They just wasn't part of the purpose and the alignment. It was supposed to be just a stepping stone. Sometimes we get into an opportunity and we get stuck there. We start living somebody else's vision. It's okay to seed into someone's vision, but that's not your vision. It's okay to encourage somebody in their vision, but that's not your vision. And when you get it all mixed up and jumbled up, then you start to get confused, and then you sitting up looking like, what's really going on? And then God got to do something really, really drastic sometimes. He got to move all of them out the way, because now you're not looking at him, you're looking at them. Had to move all of them out of the way so I could get back on the right road, on the right path towards my purpose, to make the main thing and stop with the distractions. So surviving the cancer, that was just one chapter in my life. Rebuilding life afterwards, that's another. I rediscovered purpose. I'm finding joy again. I'm creating new routines. Like I said, I have new purpose partners. I'm focusing on my wellness. I'm not just surviving, I'm living. I remember when God kept talking, when I kept hearing that in my mind, you got to just stop surviving and start living. You got to just stop surviving and start living. You got to just stop surviving and start living. Yes, I started doing things. I started moving, but I kept it here. I kept it right here. Kept it right here. When all of this was calling me, right here. But I kept it right here. I'm cancer free. I'm feeling better. I'm doing better. I'm making some money. I'm retired now. But God got all of this on the outside, and I was over here just surviving, not realizing that I was still living in a form of fear, not wanting to rock the boat, not wanting to test the waters, so to speak. But God, but God, but God. Okay? But God. He got me out here going live, talking to people. When I've never thought I had the personality or the looks or the whatever to be on anybody's live, let alone speaking to other folks. One-on-one, I'm good one-on-one. Face-to-face, I'm good one-on-one. But on live, and then you got me doing this several times a day? Come on, God. This me. He said, yeah, that's you. Because I got that for you. So my thing that I tell young people, and when I say young, I mean anybody younger than me. Don't wait till you get a diagnosis. Don't wait till you get something devastating in your life to finally stop surviving and living. Don't wait. Do it scared. I know people have told me that, and you'd be like, do it scared. What were they talking about? Do it scared. Do it anyway. Do it when you're talking to yourself. Do it no matter what. Do it when you don't feel like it. Do it when your eyes are almost swollen shut today because of the weather. The humidity is high. Do it when you telling other people God got a blessing for them and you not for sure you got all your rent for the month. Do it when you telling people you need to step out and be bold and you still operating in a form of fear. Because in you encouraging someone else, you're encouraging yourself. You know, when I wrote those books, you know, and these are things that God's been teaching me for years. The book about unmistakable passion. Remembering to say yes to you. Not yes to the world, but yes to God and yes to you. My spiritual daughter made a point this morning on her live when she said that when you agree with God and do what God say, then you got to take care of you. What's the old saying? You can't pour from an empty cup. He gave me that book years ago. I mean, years ago. When I was questioning, God couldn't possibly be talking to me. God couldn't possibly have me sitting down in the middle of the night writing pages and pages and pages of stuff. Only to then, maybe 20 years later, I got a book, Unmistakable Passion. Remembering that God has something that's been growing that needed to be birthed in me. That I wrote, designed, not disguised, taking off those false masks. You know, we wear those masks. I was good at it. I was a good worker. I was excellent at my job. But I hide behind the mask. How you doing? I'm fine. Everything is glorious. Hide behind humor. Hide behind the mask of motherhood. Hide behind the mask of sisterhood. Hiding behind the mask of good church lady. Just hiding. But these are the things God gave me 20 years ago because he wanted me to not forget to say yes to me. For me to not forget to say yes to my purpose. For me to not forget to say yes. Okay? And to stop living behind those false masks. Because when you live behind false masks, you start to die. Now, this may be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. I believe some of the reason my cancer came about is because I kept pushing down my emotions. I kept putting myself last. I kept telling myself that I wasn't worthy enough to do whatever it is that other people were doing or that I was doing, right? Or that I wanted to do. I do believe when you press down your emotions that you start to die in little bitty pieces. But once you say yes to God, and then you say yes to yourself, and you stop operating in survival mode, you can't be stopped. You cannot be stopped. Hey, Lady B. We're talking about having the mindset to overcome and the mindset I used to overcome cancer and start to rebuild my life. And one thing God did tell me I had to go back to my church home because, again, they're my purpose partners. I have a few. I don't have a lot because God told me to be careful who I allow to speak into my life. But someone is currently ready to rebuild their life, and I want to encourage them to say yes again. I want to encourage them to not think it's too late. I want them to know that it's never too late. As long as God is waking you up every day, you got a purpose and He's got a plan. And y'all need to hook up. Right? But you got to get this right. You got to know that you 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 know God got you. Is it a struggle? Absolutely. I think I said earlier on my randomness from the porch talk this morning that sometimes you just want to give up. You just be like, Lord, we're not doing this. But inside your soul is jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. Come on, we got to do this. We got to do this. It's excited because your spirit man knows everything that's coming and is encouraging you to keep going. And you get on up and you show up. You get on up and you pray up. You get on up and you fast a little. You get on up and you plan and you talk to God. But the human side, the emotional side of you is like, oh, I'm just so tired. I don't think I can do this just one more day, Lord. I don't think I can do it. But your soul and the spirit, they done got together and it's just, come on, girl, come on, you got it. Come on, come on, come on, you got it. You got this, you got this, you got this. Because why? You got on the armor of God. You got on the full armor. He got your back. Remember, Job had to go through that. His friends told him to curse God and die. But look at what he got. He got double for his trouble. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep going. Mindset. I told you when I go to the doctor now, I be looking forward going to the doctor, and I hate getting stuck. Now, when I had that poured in, that was easy. They stick, get whatever they need. But now they got to go back through the hands and the arms, and I hate getting stuck, but I love seeing those lab reports. I hate getting that dye put in my body, but I know how to get it out with my cleansing teas. I come home and have my cleansing teas and get all of that gook out of my system. So when that scan comes back and says everything is stable, there's no evidence of metastasis, whatever that word is with the M where it says it's cancer. No sign of that. All the organs are unremarkable because they operate and function normally. I love it. I love to get those reports. I used to be scared because it might say we see evidence of, there might be some of something. Now I'll be like, all right, let's go. And I also be looking forward to, because in the building where I go to get these things, there's a Starbucks. Now, I don't get the coffee because I got the world's best coffee over here, okay? But I don't get the coffee, but they always had these cute little sandwiches and that banana nut bread, baby. So I didn't get the bacon gene from my mama like my daughter did. So I have to get my treats outside. So I see that as a treat. I get a clear scan, I get some banana nut bread. That's a good combination for me. Mindset. Get your mind right, and you will feel like, ooh, my daughter's cartoon, Pinky and the Brain. The two little mice, right? Pinky's always asking, what are we going to do tonight, Brain? And the Brain says, what we do every night, Pinky. We're going to figure out how to take over the world. I love that. We're going to figure out how to take over the world one mindset at a time. Don't that sound good? We're going to take over the world, right? So I just wanted to come on, and I wanted to share that because it was in my spirit, because I like going live when I have a topic. And I prayed and I said, Lord, you you've spoken to me through my pastor, you've spoken to me through my spiritual daughter about going live. But I don't want to be phony and fake on live. I don't want to go on there talk about what we want to talk about tonight and hemming and hawing, and I want it to be a good conversation, a back and forth. I want to be me. Now that I know me, I want to be me. So what can I do to be me? So he gave me some topics and different things to talk about because I want it to flow. I want it to be real. I want y'all to join in, right? I'm not here for the money. I'm here to let you know that your life is not over because something changed. I'm here to let you know that your life is not over because the doctor said you have this diagnosis. Your life is not over because your money is funny. Your life is not over because a relationship ended. Your life is not over. Just got to change the mindset. So I thank you for hanging out with me. And as we close out our night pour, I want to remind you of something that I had to learn during my own journey. That your mindset matters. The way you speak to yourself during difficult seasons can either break you or rebuild you. So thank you for joining me on the night pour tonight. We're here every night at 9 p.m. I'll always post it as a reminder what the subject is. I'll tell you. Because you need to release what you don't need and keep what strengthens you. Okay? And that's what we do here on the night pour. We've had a great day. It was a great Monday. I had a good day. This was an excellent day. And I thank God for an excellent day. So guess what? I'll be here tomorrow at 9 p.m. But you can also join me in the morning at 9 a.m. for the morning pour. Check the pinned items on my page. Because you can't tell people to go off of. It's certain things you can say and not say. And then I have my other live that I do at 4 p.m. You can join me there. Because I told God, we're going to hit it hard and we're going to hit it fast in March. You gave me stuff to say, and I'm going to say it. So with that said, y'all sleep well, rest well, and maybe I'll see you in the morning on the morning pour. All right? All right. Later, Gators. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.